2 News. News that works for you starts right now.
Good evening. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Ron Savage.
And I'm Kerry, Birmingham. Right now, they're waiting for Wilma in Florida. A hurricane warning has just been issued there.
Meanwhile, the storm has already battered Cancun, Mexico. Fox 2's Doug Luzader for the very latest in Fort Myers, Florida.
This part of Florida is now under a hurricane watch. Wilma has lost some intensity, but it is possible she could gain some strength before making another landfall. You can tell just by looking at the water that something is on the way.
Oh, it's many more waves than you would ordinarily have, yeah.
Some are getting in last-minute beach time, but all of South Florida is now under a hurricane watch.
We have hundreds of people on the ground in Florida. We have people at the State Emergency Management Center. We have people in Orlando. We have people in Miami at the Hurricane Center. We're going to make sure that we know what's going on.
In Mexico, where Wilma slowed down and tore through the Yucatan Peninsula, some are venturing out now to see the damage. Back in Florida, the final preparations are underway, and the evacuations are continuing. But for many residents here, evacuation is a difficult decision, particularly for people that need to access their homes over bridges. Police are blocking some of these areas off, and once residents leave, they can't necessarily come back.
We're hoping to get over there to meet with our realtor.
Those who are not local residents are turned away on the bridge leading to Sanibel Island. The owner of the Sanibel Marina has pulled just about every boat out of the water and secured each on land, but he won't be going anywhere.
Well, the problem is if you leave, they won't get you back on. And we've got the restaurant and the generators that get started and the damaged boats or boats that we could possibly save from being damaged if we were here. So we'll probably stay.
Depending on Wilma's strength, Florida could be looking at a 12 to 17-foot storm surge. That's why places like the Florida Keys are now under a mandatory evacuation. In Fort Myers, Florida, Doug Luzader, Fox 2 News.
Fred Flintstone used to say, Wilma. Wyatt Everhart is here, and he says it's not the only storm out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going into new territory here, Ron. New record set today when the Hurricane Center named a new tropical storm, Alpha. That's the Greek alphabet. We've never had to go into the second alphabet before.
Ran out of names.
Unbelievably active season. Of course, mainly what we're watching is Wilma because Florida is likely in the path of that storm. As we look at the tropics on the large scale here, 2 storms, one to your left there, north of Cancun. That is Wilma moving out, and then another cluster down to the lower right part of the screen. That's Alpha. Quick details. Wilma, Category 2 hurricane, winds nearly 100 miles per hour. We expect it to strengthen a bit as it heads toward Florida through the day tomorrow, eventually arriving, we think, early Monday morning. And then there's Alpha. This one sets the record, the most named tropical storms ever in a season. That is officially set today as that storm was named. The good news with Alpha, that one expected to stay away from the United States. More details on these storms and your rest of your weekend forecast all coming up.
Right now, Detroit police need your help solving a deadly hit-and-run crash. Witnesses tell police someone driving a white Mercury Sable hit and killed a man on Grand River, then kept going. Some witnesses say they didn't see the crash, but they could hear it. Fox 2 has learned the victim had been attending a substance abuse support program and had just recently turned his life around.
He was trying to get his life back together and never really got a full chance to experience that because somebody just snuffed his life out just like that.
That white Mercury Sable had temporary tags on it. It was last seen driving north on Grand River. Call Detroit police if you have any information. A bizarre hit-and-run under investigation tonight in Windsor. Police say a 37-year-old man driving a truck caused a chain reaction crash on Erie Street. He slammed into multiple parked cars while his 2 children were riding in the cab with him. One of those vehicles slammed into a house. Police say the driver ditched his truck about a half mile from the scene, then ran off with his kids.
I was actually in my dining room, and I heard this big bang and what felt like an earthquake.
I think the guy's a nut. I don't know what the hell he was thinking about or what he was doing, but to do that, like, there's no skid marks. He didn't even try to brake.
Police later caught up with the driver and arrested him. No word yet, though, on what charges he will face.
Fire breaks out a nursing home on Detroit's west side. Happened at the Arbor Nursing Home on the West Grand Boulevard near 14th Street. Fox 2's been told that 2 people sustained minor injuries in the blaze. One victim was taken to Detroit Receiving Hospital, the other to Henry Ford. Investigators are still looking for the cause of this fire.
A dangerous stretch of I-75 will soon be a little bit safer. MDOT will add a guardrail to the freeway for a 9-mile stretch that'll run from Auburn Hills to Clarkston. They're trying to prevent deadly accidents like this one back in April when a pickup truck crossed the line in the freeway, starting a fiery crash that killed 3 people. Construction on the guardrail will start next week.
Right now, the Fox 2 problem solvers are going to work to help an artist raise money so he can heat his studio. Fox 2's Camille Amiri with a story in Roseville.
It's called Art for Heat. Roseville artist Edward Gonzo Strauss is selling his artwork, mostly portraits, to raise money for a new furnace.
I'm impressed. I mean, I hope that they're able to raise the funds that they need. I think it's important for us to support the arts.
Fox 2 first told you about Strauss's plight earlier this week. The state ordered him to remove his antiquated boiler because it wasn't up to code. The artist has multiple sclerosis, he's on disability, and his funds are limited.
Having a lot of old friends and faces stop by, a lot of new faces, and it's all positive. My spirits are very high right now.
People who know Strauss's art say there's something different, something unique about his stylistic approach.
The thing that really gets me about his work is the eyes can be very piercing, and a lot of the paintings he uses airbrush technique that can be, it's not exactly realistic, but the eyes and a lot of the paintings will follow you around the room, and it's really compelling work.
And the final day of the art show is Sunday between the hours of 12 and 5. The studio is located in Roseville on Gratiot. The address is 28305. And if you can't make it, Gonzo says he will be here later on in the week to show his art. In Roseville, Camille Amiri, Fox 2 News.
All right, Camille, tonight a Fox 2 follow-up on a local church that was told to shut down its food program for the homeless. Earlier this week, the city of Westland found the Full Gospel Temple to be in violation of zoning laws for serving meals to the homeless. So they were forced to close the soup kitchen on Thursday. But then the mayor heard the news, and she told the pastor to reopen that soup kitchen on Monday.
Well, those marvelous Angels Night volunteers are gearing up for a busy week ahead. They put on this rally today at Cass Tech High, showing their enthusiasm for the important mission ahead. That's to keep the city safe from arsonists. They had door prizes, fire prevention lessons, food, and entertainment. The mayor was also there. Detroit, the city, says you can help the Angels Night effort simply by turning on your porch light. If you'd like to apply to become a volunteer, you can call this number, 313-224-4415.
And here's to hoping we have another great Angels Night around here. Whispers in Washington grow into a quiet roar tonight. Coming up, why the president's Supreme Court nomination could be derailed.
Plus, a massive manhunt rounds up more than 150 wanted fugitives in Metro Detroit, but the one who got away is Michigan's most wanted.
And important news before thousands of runners take off for tomorrow's Detroit Marathon.